Hi everyone, here we go again. Last one, last little bit on using this Lucid press. So if you can remember from the last sort of tutorial, we got as far as starting to put some images in and rotate them. And the biggest thing that I wanted to show in the last one was about using your columns and also to apply your copy. One of the big ones in the last tutorial was about wrapping your copy around objects, so whether they were an image or whether it was a drop cap, it was totally and utterly up to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to my article, and I'm just, for sort of self purposes, going to now just put the last of my own written stuff for my article into here. Okay. I know this is going to look a little bit rough and it's going to look a little bit jagged with the way that I've kind of done it, but yeah, bear with me. I promise you this is the last one now. So I'm going to take all of that out of there. I'm going to pop back into here and just drop in the last of my copy. Okay. So that's kind of it where I'm up to. That's what I want for it. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger, maybe even move it over this side a bit more so it fills up more of my copy itself, like so. Okay, and you can just play about and mess about with it in accordance. I'm done with that. There's no more that I want to do on that. I'm fairly happy with what I've done. So there we go. I'm just going to lock in each of those layers so that whilst I'm moving things around, I'm not doing too much and messing about with it too much. And there we go. Now, I said to you that I'd left this space here for my subhead, and this is the subhead that I wrote for the article itself. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop back over, I might even stick it in on the subheading as well, and I'm going to paste what I'd written into there, and I'm just going to drag that, move it up here, and make it a little bit fuller over the page itself. Now with this one in mind, again, I'm going to go back to the text up at the top. I'm going to choose, let's have a look, what should we have? Should we have a bit of pink and see how that works? Nah, let's not bother. Let's have a little bit of yellow instead. You know what? Let's go to the old wheel and choose something from there instead. There we go, yellow. Let's have a bit of that yellow. So if we come out of there, there's my subhead. Remember, your subhead is the little bit of extra additional text that tells people about what's going on in the article itself. So I've written something a little bit more about LG in here. And rather than going to this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the stuff up at the top. So again, we've got all these different aspects of fonts for what we may choose for it. Obviously, you can sort of choose whichever one fits and works a little bit better. And you may even be able to upload and import some fonts from different websites. There's a good website called dafont, that's just dafont.com, and you can download it, upload and import it all in, no problem at all. I'm going to go with Lead Gothic because it's a little bit mad. From there, let's have a look at 36 for that, for the size. And with that one in mind, I'm just going to drag it actually over here as well. It's way too big. I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to drop it down a bit more. Okay. 25. Nice rounded number. And let's just drop that across. Yeah, that's fitting all right, that. Not too bad at all. Pretty happy. One thing that you might be able to have a little bit of a play about with as well as you're kind of going along is, where's it gone? Just some of your options in here for your text. And just the positioning, you can still get to them over here, but it might just work a little bit better on this one from the top. So you've got lots of different options for your formats for all caps and tops and bottoms and lines through it with a strike, and obviously you can have subscripts and stuff like that. You can indent things ever so slightly if you want. Say it's sort of your call on which way you go about things. You see it's just dropped a little bit of a space in there. Undo those a bit because I'm not happy with those. And there we go. So you've got options across the top to kind of play about with things as well. Again, it just sort of depends on what you're going for. All right, there we go. That's hopefully kind of it. Should work okay. Should be simple and straightforward enough. Obviously, you can always have limitations as to what we can do. So there's my subhead. It's in a little bit more. I'm going to leave it like so. And just to now finish off the rest of my magazine with a little bit more imagery and some of the other things I said about with video as well. I'm now just going to go back to my images, and I'm just going to choose some horrendous ones that I took of myself, as you will see on screen now, looking all moody and serious. There you go. You know what? Let's whack that one in there. I have no shame. I don't get embarrassed. It's all good. No problem at all. Absolutely horrendous. Now, my main thing on here is to sort of warn you more than anything, because I've deliberately not cut myself out of this image and I've left my sort of wall background in there to sort of show you that the importance of cutting out your images to make it transparent with your background like so, because if you wanted to wrap something around this image, it wouldn't work. All right, so it's very, very, very important that even when you put your images in there, you've got to make sure that any part that you do not want, you make it transparent, and you might have to go back to Pixlr in order to be able to do that. All right, so that's how it kind of works with that one. Again, I'm going to go for sky blue for my outer border. Put 9 in again because that's what the other two were. And as I said, if we just hover across the top, get the little curly arrow, and I'm just gonna, you know what, I'm gonna whack myself that way around a little bit more. Then I'm gonna go back, and again, I'm just gonna choose my images from my upload, pop out of my originals, pop back into my sourced images where I've got everything saved. And what am I going to go with this time? Probably haven't got another one ever, so there we go. Oh well, it'll just have to be that one for now. Well, let's just drop another one in from what I took when I went to the Oasis exhibition. That'll do. You know, let's have a whack at that in there. So you can start to see now that I've got a few examples of my own images, which fits to the brief, which is what is expected as well. And hopefully, here we go. No problem at all. Sorted. Again, I'm going to stick my border on for 9 px, and I'm going to change my colour. And in this way, I'm going to use my eyedropper to. Oh, typical, it's not going to work. Of course, it's not going to work. Ah, that's frustrating. Never mind. Let's kind of get back to where we were before. It was about there. All right. Move that down. I'm just going to rotate that ever so slightly, maybe even like so. And there we go. Again, all right, that'll do for now as to how I want everything to look and how I want everything to work. Ah, damn it. So what I find now is that this little bit of a column of copy is now being covered by my image. So let's give this little wrap another go and see if we can work in and around it like so. So if I unlock this layer, because it's highlighted as blue as being showing up, so it's quite nice actually, it's quite a nice feature that if you click on it, it will show you which text layer by highlighting it blue from here. So if you click on that, let's just unlock it, and let's go back to the image, and now let's go back to layout up at the top. From there, let's do that tight wrap in and around like that. And there we go. So you'll see how that's moving in and around in proportion to my image. Obviously, I've lost a bit of text down at the bottom. I've lost a bit of copy. Yeah, no bother. I'm not bothered too much about that for now because I'm just showing you what's going on. Obviously, we would make this more professional ahead of submission, etc. And that's how it all kind of works. So that is pretty much okay for how I want my magazine to look. Now, the final thing for additions is going to be about your interactivity. Remember from the brief, and I've said this in the last lesson, that we have to include an element of interactivity. And what we're going to do in this shape is we are going to go over back to the 3 little dots on the left hand side where those video options were. You've got YouTube, you've got Facebook, and you've got Vimeo as potential options. I'm going to go with YouTube because that's where my video is. And again, with that one in mind, I'm just going to minimize it a little bit, and I'm going to go over to my layout. I'm going to make sure that is all okay. And if I need to do any sort of wrapping, so for example, if I'm going to put it over here, then I'm just going to click on that, and I'm going to click on tie, and it should hopefully all work like so. Ah, yes, as if by magic it is. I'm just going to leave that like so. You know what, I'm going to stick it in the corner here, because that's how I'm rolling with it. No pun intended. No pun intended at all. Okay, if you double click on, is it not working? Of course, that's why, because it's up there. So if you do double click on it and you click onto video, you will find that it has a link to YouTube in here. So if you get rid of that, all I'm going to do is just pop back onto my article and take my favourite Oasis song, Slide Away. And I'm just going to pop that into there. So you will see down at the bottom, sorry, I should have zoomed in a bit more for you there. I'll just go through that process again for you, sorry if I just undo it. There we go, we've got it moving from there. I'm going to pop it right into the corner. I'm even going to cover my page number as to what it would be down there. And I'm just going to leave it like so. I know some of my copy's been cut off, but I don't want to fiddle about with those things whilst we are pressed for time. So if I paste it into there, it's all happy days. And actually, in theory, what it should do is it should play. Of course, it's not going to play, but it should play. It should play for you. And it will work quite nicely like so. And that's kind of where we are. I'm pretty happy with that as a very rough, quick guide on how to do things. Obviously, you've got tons more time than I have to put all this together, and you can make it as conventional as you possibly can. Because I can't help myself, I'm just going to have a mess about with that colour because I'm really, really not happy with it now. It's doing my head in. Let's just go with a solid colour, black. Look at that, it works a million times better. That's cool, I'm happy with that. That'll do nicely. And there's my effectively finished magazine itself in all its entirety. So once you're sorted, obviously, file, save, just up at the top, like so. That makes us like so. And there we go. Get it nice and saved, get it saved up. Happy days, that'll all work quite nicely. And then all we need to do is we can either go to the download from there. We can preview it so you can have a little look and see how it would sort of work, and give it a minute or so to have a damn good think about all my ridiculous production that I've kind of done. And there we go. So there's your front cover in its sort of preview shape. Let's move on to that double page spread, and there it is, looking relatively okay for what I've done. And here we go. Let's see if this works. Amazing, it actually does. That's pretty cool. Awesome. So straight away there, you've obviously got your interactivity for the requirements of the brief. All right, and there we go. Happy days. If you click on share, then, oh, sorry, no, we don't. We go back. Sorry, escape. Sorry. We go to escape and we go back to the page itself. And all you need to do from there is if you click on share. Sorry, apologies everyone. You don't need to worry about clicking share, sorry. If you just click on download, which is just this little arrow here, you'll see you'll be able to do it as a PDF. I just need it submitting as a PDF and that'll do quite nicely for me. Click on your PDF, you can change it to the other ones if you want to, but PDF will work quite nicely for me for this one. You can sometimes choose some of these, but it's going to charge you or it's going to ask you to upgrade to a thingy. So let's just go with 720 DPI. Dots per inch, and we'll just go with a standard PDF. That'll do quite nicely. Click on download, give it a second or so, and then it will drop it into obviously your downloaded folder. And once you've got that PDF, that's just what I'm going to be taking and marking over half term. You'll have your front page that looks a little bit like this. We'll then be able to move into your double page spread like so. And look at that, as if by magic, it takes me to the video as well. All right, and that's pretty much it. We're all sorted, we're all done, dusted, and hopefully that is my last little bit that I need to do with you, just to show you some of the basics. Awesome, guys. Thank you so very much for sticking with me and watching this. Hopefully it's been simple and straightforward for you to be able to follow, and it's giving you some tips and hints on how to do things as we've gone along. Okay, fabulous. Thank you very much and all the best.